Hello there. So today I've got a few caffeine stories related to caffeine, not drinking caffeine, I should say. Okay. So one is directly related to myself. It is about me. Okay. Um, you know, I had a few days off caffeine. It might have been 2 or 3 days totally off caffeine. And then I walked up to my letterbox and I saw this tree there. And you're probably thinking, what's the big deal there? Well, the thing is, on caffeine, I had never noticed that tree ever before, but it was always there because my consciousness was at a lower level. I was missing the fine details, being drugged out on caffeine. So I didn't see that tree right next to the letterbox. I mean, it's not a big tree. It's kind of skinny, but it's still there. And I didn't see it on caffeine. And I've been living at this place for years. I mean, many years, right? So that was quite shocking, you know? That's when I realized the effect of caffeine and the current moment, how it affects the current moment, what you see and feel. Because you end up seeing and feeling a lot more in the current moment. But anyway, that's one example. If I think about it, there's more little stories relating to me and being caffeine free. But one was with this woman that I met. Um, she was like, when I met her, she was stressed out, okay, and she was average looking, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I have to say that because it's part of the story. So she was stressed out, about her family and stuff like that. I mean, her reactions they felt a little bit over the top to me, a bit unbalanced. So I knew straight away something was affecting her. And so I asked about how much coffee she drank every day. And she only drank about 1 to 2 cups, but it was affecting her. So I told her, oh, you might want to like either quit it or reduce it to one per day and see how you go because caffeine is a stressor. It was stressing her out. Um, and she was average looking. So what happened is I met her again after about a week. And as she was getting into the car, I said to her, you look different. Did you get a haircut? And she said, no. And I said, oh, do you have oil in your hair? And she said, no. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is she looked better. Before she looked average to me. Now she actually looked pretty good. So basically she improved her appearance within a week. How? So, and then we got talking, and then I asked her about she told me that she had dramatically reduced her coffee consumption. In fact, in that 1 week she had basically quit it. She had had 1 or 2 coffees in that week, so she cut it dramatically. Normally she would have had about 15 coffees in that week. Yeah. So basically, I mean, I knew about the benefit of quitting caffeine and getting better hair, skin, eyes, and teeth. And this is exactly what happened to this average looking woman. She looked pretty good. And also, she wasn't stressed out anymore. She was very calm. She didn't complain one little bit about her family. So I was shocked because she actually looked younger and better within a week. You know, wow. I mean, better hair. The hair was really dramatic. I remember that. I mean, women, they put a lot of expensive products into their hair to make the hair shinier and healthier and whatever. And all this average woman did was quit caffeine. That's awesome. That's bloody awesome. Then there was this other lady that I met once. Okay, I met her through a hobby, whatever. Friendly lady, a little bit stressed out again. I mean, her hands were sweating all the time, she told me. So once again, I inquired about the caffeine consumption. Yes, she was drinking coffee a lot. Okay, I told her she might want to might want to reduce it to one per day. And she ended up actually gradually quitting it. And the change in her was so dramatic that her husband told her never to drink coffee again because he ended up with a very peaceful woman and her hands no longer sweated for no reason. I mean, so that it's just a few short stories there of being caffeine free, and I'm sure I could think of many more, even relating to myself. In fact, I might throw in one more right now. I've got a really nice daughter. When she was 6 years old, about that time, I had spent a few days off caffeine, off being drugged out, and I wasn't even drinking much caffeine. All right, anyway. And then I had this moment where I looked at her. I looked into her face, and it looked like I was looking at her for the first time in my life because I noticed things about her face that I had never noticed before. Because before I had a caffeine filter on, and I was missing the fine details in her face, and that really scared me. It really shocked me. She had been alive for 6 years, and this is the first time that I truly stared at her face. I mean, I wasn't even trying to stare. I was just looking at her face. All right. Now, let me just throw in another little point here. Look, when you're drinking caffeine, coffee every day, whatever, you can still have some concentration, but you have to try. You have to actually make it a point. "Oh, I'm going to look at this particular thing intently now." That's how you got to do it on caffeine. But off caffeine, you're naturally just casually looking at everything intently anyway, a bit like a child. You end up with the concentration of a child. But anyway, a few short caffeine free stories. Thank you very much.